Hello everyone, good afternoon. So, the focus of my presentation would be more on grid applications, particularly for ancillary services requirements. So, I'll start just. So, I'll cover on demand supply stabilization methods and followed by indicative cost of stabilization where the battery energy storage systems is placed. Followed by the pilot which we are doing with support from USAID, and then I'll discuss the frequency regulation and reactive power support applications in detail. So going back to the conventional problem which we have in Indian grid with the advent of more RE integration which is taking place is the variability in demand and supply which is taking place because of a number of factors, either due to load change or due to generation change. And there are particular methods for stabilizing this demand supply variations in real time. So we have tried to plot indicative measures like power system operations, market mechanism, optimal load curtailment. So the plot is with respect to cost versus the complexity which is there. So energy storage do have a role, a place in this kind of solutions for demand supply stabilizations, and battery storage is already there. So indicatively I have indicated the cost to be high, but as the cost of the batteries is going to come down in recent years, we assume that this battery storage which has a unique advantage in terms of infinite ramp available with it would be more apt and suitable for providing a stability kind of support to the grid. So, I'm the project manager for USAID sponsored project on Greening the Grid India, which is a long-term 4 years project and which have got a six number of pilots which are more focused on how this RE can be integrated more easily. So these pilots ranges from thermal flexibility and automatic generation control from hydro and solar plants, then dynamic reactive power control from solar plants. So these, the gamut of pilots which we have are more or less aligned towards addressing the issues which will come up when a large RE integration takes place in Indian context. I'll be more focusing on battery energy storage systems pilot, which we are doing in collaboration with Power Grid PGCIL India. They have already deployed a 500 kilowatt battery energy storage system at Puducherry, 250 kilowatt lithium ion and 250 kilowatt lead acid battery each. And what we are doing is we are enhancing the range of applications or use cases from those battery energy storage systems, which will cover ancillary services support like frequency regulation, voltage support, and also for renewable energy capacity firming supports. So in renewable energy support, we say there is three types of applications. The one is RE shifting, one is RE capacity firming, and the third one is RE smoothing. So these kind of applications which we are going to demonstrate and deploy there, and once the outcomes are there, we will try to parameterize the outcomes so as to stack the values which a battery energy storage systems can provide for providing a grid support. This is a basic schematic where a BMS is there, battery management system, and PCS is a hardware part, which is basically a GTO. Then we have software logics, which is coded in PMS systems, SCADA EMS, and so this is a basic typical layout of a battery energy storage systems. Now going further on the applications which we intend to demonstrate, generally we categorize the applications in two buckets. One is energy configuration, one is power configurations. And when we are talking about ancillary support, we are more or less talking about power configuration support, not energy time shift and other applications. So I'll be more focusing on how these ancillary services can be harnessed from a battery energy storage systems and how it can support the grid in the long term. I'll go with some basic formulas here like frequency regulation. So if you see there is a dead band which says we have a lower band, dead band and higher dead band. So the battery energy storage system is not supposed to operate within this dead band, and then it has to operate once the frequency goes beyond this dead band with a slope. So this slope is something which we can adjust and fix through the logics controls. We can provide the parameters, input, outputs. So it says that if your frequency band is beyond dead band, it will operate with this slope kind of thing, and if it is within the band, the operation would give a zero output. Again, when we derive and develop this kind of algorithms, we also need to be very focused how we are managing the state of charge of the battery. Because when battery is not providing support, for example, our frequency is from 49.95 to 50.05. At that ideal time when battery is not supporting, the battery algorithm should be designed in such a fashion that it should support in maintaining the deliberated or designed SOC. So here we are talking about single slope, but what we are implementing at our Power Grid Puducherry facility is a dual slope. This means from C to D, the battery will not operate. From B and C frequency set points, the output, this is P output, would vary with a lower slope. And once this goes beyond, for example, if frequency goes below 49.5, say, the slope of the battery response would be much higher. Again, going back, what happens in between? If my system SOC at that particular time is less than my prescribed SOC, so for example, if I say that I should not operate batteries if SOC is less than say 30%, and if my SOC at that time is less than 30%, the characteristics of this battery energy storage applications would be like, in the dead band, it will generate the maximum, it will act as a charging device. So as to ensure that SOC gets between the SOC maximum and SOC minimum range. So this is how the characteristics would look like. Similarly, if my system, SOC of the system is greater than the prescribed higher limit of the SOC, the battery would discharge during this dead band so as to bring down the SOC of the battery within the permissible limits. Similarly, if SOC is between higher and lower values, say it is between 40 to 60%, which I have pre-decided, and a system SOC is 50%, the battery output would be zero. So it will follow this kind of characteristics curve. So this is kind of applications, and these kind of things, when we code and design in software, this is a quite cumbersome process which required basic ground level understanding. For example, we are also developing factory acceptance testing guidelines and site acceptance testing guidelines from these battery systems, which we want to roll out to larger audiences. But those things again require much more customizations on in-field deployment. The parameters needs to be fine-tuned. So all those things are there, which we are working on this pilot support. The another aspect is the voltage reactive power support, which seems much simpler, that the battery would not operate if my voltage at the POC or PCC point is within a well-defined range. Otherwise, it will operate with a slope curve, which again can be defined based on the battery parameters, the maximum output which can be generated, and so on. So I'll just conclude here with with saying that these applications which are required for demonstrations from a battery energy storage systems do have scope for further automation, introducing artificial intelligence kind of thing, where it can sense the grid parameters, it can forecast what is going to happen, so that it can optimize on the overall cycle operation, because the battery cost is related to the number of cycle operations when it supports. So those things can be optimized in a much more better fashion. So as we move on with a higher penetration of REs, this ancillary service support would be required, and batteries in terms of the specifications and technologies which are there in terms of their technical performance, they are the leader, and it is also expected that they will become a critical potential for this market, ancillary market supports once it is operational. And there is already a debate that why battery, why not others, but what I feel is that let these resources compete in the real market, and then we decide which one is best to use. So I'll just conclude here. Yeah.